All right, hi everyone. Just wanted to make a video about some thoughts about wargaming, the wargaming hobby. Um, I I met with some. I guess this is kind of a rant, but anyway, I met some people that were, um, that said they were like did Warhammer 40,000, did tabletop gaming, and yeah, I didn't want to talk about that I was a historical gamer because I think the people that do that focus only on that side of the hobby can have like kind of weird reactions. Um, but anyway, I just didn't want to share that. But anyway, one of them was talking about how like it's kind of I forget the words he used exactly, but he was talking about how it's like kind of um, elitist to or something to expect like a painted army. Um, it's one of those things I really just kind of don't appreciate, is especially online, of like expecting the bare minimum of the hobby is somehow like a elitism, or it's like you shouldn't even be expecting this. Um, and it's one of those issues where it gets into like people like, well, how does this affect you? Even though this is like a this is a group kind of game, at least two people, ideally driven kind of hobby where you play games with other people. Um, I can say from personal experience, it does like affect you when I was in a gaming group for a couple of years. Doing when I was still playing basically Warhammer 40,000 actively, and it was really over time. It got just really frustrating that I would book like games with people at the shop, and week after week, people would just show up with unpainted armies, or armies you could tell like they had not made any progress on, or very little progress. And then the people that would like talk about how, oh, I actually hate painting. I actually hate the painting part of the hobby. And I just find that really frustrating to deal with, because that's probably why I don't really do any of the Games Workshop games anymore, because you see this a lot. And I'm sorry, but like painting is just the kind of like one of the bare minimum aspects of the whole thing. I mean, and when you show up, to these games, and you're bringing, like, let's say either a fully painted army or like a 70% army that clearly you're making progress on. That's one thing, but when you're just constantly gaming with and showing no effort in that area, and obviously, and it's pretty egregious, I think, with the Games Workshop miniatures, because they're really easy to paint, and I mean that as in the best way. Like you can get a box of like Space Marines, or even Eldar, and it's nice clean armor. You don't really need even that many colors if you want to just do like something really basic, and you can get a unit painted up really quickly. At least for like basic troops. You can see my painting ability. I mean, I'm not really like an expert painter, and you can probably go back and look at on the channel like my Games Workshop figures I've done over the years. I've been doing this for YouTube stuff for a few years now, several years now, and I'd say my Games Workshop miniatures are probably a lot better painted than like my 15 millimeter historics, or even my other kind of historic, like World War II stuff I've done on the channel. So, you know, if you're not really doing that aspect of the hobby, or even like complaining about it, like I just don't understand what the appeal is. I guess like they just like the game, but for me it just comes down to that, like, you know, you should show like the other person you're playing, respect, and I think that coming with a army that's painted is part of that. You know, because it is tiring to just never have, to just always be fighting like a gray plastic or bare metal, whatever the case may be, army. So I think it's also a matter of like the difference in approaches to painting, because I think one thing that the Games Workshop kind of communities teach, that's you have to kind of unlearn when you shift to historic wargaming, is like painting to complete like an army versus like painting a figure or two, or focusing on each figure, because that's kind of the approach that I think a lot of the videos talk about on YouTube, of like how to make the figure look good. But we're dealing with the kind of historic games where it's like, let's say, from ancients all the way to Napoleonics, and even some like games about the world wars, where you're dealing with, depending on the scale, large kind of formations massed up. You just need to like have a completely different approach to painting, I think. And I've made videos about this over the years, but you just have to focus on getting the army done, rather than is this figure gonna look good. When I went to go game with this club recently, it was the host had a huge selection of miniatures, and I think in that kind of situation of hosting a game at a club, like if you're running the game and you're providing the miniatures, it's really incumbent on you to make sure they are fully painted, and it is a 90% painted army. Sometimes things happen, you have to use like some proxies, maybe forget something, but you're there to, people are taking time out of their day, out of their weekend, to come to this convention or like the club to play to play in your game. And if you're not going to at least try really hard to make it the best you can within reason, it's just, I think it's really not, you're not really putting the effort in, and it's a little I think it's kind of a disservice to the people that you're going to game with that day. So I think the hobby needs to have standards, and I've said that on this channel over the years, just to at least try. I don't think that's too much to ask. And it's also an issue of when people are addicted to just purchasing miniatures, which is sadly a lot more common in kind of the Games Workshop community, although I'm sure it's happens with historical players, and I certainly have a lot of stuff unpainted, and I think we all do, but doesn't mean it's like good. I don't want to have big piles and piles of unpainted figures that just sit there in my storage boxes forever. And you get these Warhammer 40,000 players that I think are just basically addicted, to buying. This was this group that I wasn't a good fit for. I was never going to like confront anyone. That's not really how to deal with these things, but it was just not a good fit, because you had people that weren't really painting, or would talk about how they didn't like painting, and then they were just constantly buying like new you know, whatever the new release was. You know, and it's not, I don't think that's what the hobby is really about. It's not for me anyway. So, just wanted to share that, and get that out. Yeah, just my thoughts on that. You know, agree or disagree. You know, it's whatever. But you know, just want to share that on my channel. As you can see, I will do a separate, I think, painting update when I get more done. You know, I think in closing, related to painting, like, I'm just finding that these are kind of a pain to paint. And I'm doing kind of a pretty quick paint job on all of them, mostly because I think once, this is the first one I finished, I think once they're all kind of ranked up together, they'll look much better, but I'm just trying to get these done as quickly as possible. I think they'll be fine, again, once they're in kind of a complete formation. I've got, so I'm doing basing on this one, and then I've got 2 more primed up, and then yeah, and then I've got 2 more that are still in the still not primed yet. No, 3 more. I've got yeah, because I've got another one. I had another one back here. So so that's what I've got going on that end. Yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. This is a little different compared to my normal ones, but gonna keep painting away, and yeah. Thanks for watching, and like I said, if you've made it to the end, I'm gonna do it just a standalone painting video when I get more of this stuff done. That's on the table now. So, all right. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next video.